warm welcome to Trang Province in Thailand. Today we are exploring a river that flows into the sea. For an undertaking like this, I usually check the day before how to access the water and then head to those specific spots. I set off towards the center to the region and was immediately disappointed. For one thing, I couldn't get to the water in that area. For another, I saw nothing but tilapia. This section was dammed and apparently used for raising food fish. Not interesting for us, so we moved on. The second of 4 stops was a little bit better. The water had been dammed up to form a small lake. You can hear a pump in the background. Some farmers pump water to irrigate their fields. So, I couldn't really get into the water, and the best spot to reach the edge was already taken. But we can still take a quick look at it. Another school of tilapia, but other fish too. A dead hangfish was floating on the surface. It looked a bit creepy, like a Kuold from the Stargate TV series. Probably not a good idea to get in. Aplochilus. There are 2 described species that fit the description: Panchax and Amatus. We take a look underwater. Many Raspora can be seen. As well as a school of dwarf tiger barbs. These are very shy. As soon as they notice me, they are all vanished. Stop number 3. This time very promising. The water isn't clear, but this is where it gets interesting, especially because I can actually get down to the water. An incredible density of cryptocoryne plants. At first glance from above, I don't see any flowers, but then I finally spot one. Beautiful. Aplochilus. Amatus varieties in appearance depending on the locality, just Panchax. There are no reliable external characteristics to distinguish between Aplochilus amatus and Panchax. Only genetic. Sometimes Amatus lacks border on the caudal fin and the silvery shining spot on the back of the head. As soon as I step in, the water becomes incredibly murky. I try to get, and then I have to use the landing net to get an overview of the fish life. I'm trying to correctly identify the fish, but I'm not sure about this one. They might well be juvelines. There are also some gobies on the bottom. I now pick up the net to continue searching. Any attempts to take underwater footage elsewhere prove unsuccessful. Here you can see the fish in my small aquarium again. An Aplochilus and a betta pugnax. Next, I catch a small chana. Initially, they swim in a school alongside or above the parent fish. See the photo. This one, however, is already swimming on its own. I caught a loach in my net. I hope the name is correct. I also found this catfish. Unfortunately, I can't identify it. Any help would be appreciated. My collected works. I found betta pugnax in various biotopes during this vacation. Thought I didn't spot it during initial observings from above. And in all the biotopes I visited during that time, there were always very few specimens around. This is just a snapshot, and the situation can certainly vary from one biotope to another. Moving on the last spot where I reached the river, I once again find cryptocorin in large quantities. On an excursion like this, you can't necessarily expect the kind of perfect underwater shots you'd get at a spring, but the biodiversity is fantastic. And off we go! The water is clearer than the last stop. At first glance, we see lots of shrimp and gobies. Let's take a closer look. The gobies are incredibly well camouflaged. You can barely see them, not until they move. I try to make a bit more progress. There is a small body of water in the field next to the main stream, so we head over there. I see many Aplochilus and half breaks at the water surface. We're taking a quick look underwater. On the way to the back section of the main river, I run into his fellow. Unfortunately, I can't identify it. I've never seen one with this kind of coloration before. You can also find cryptocorin here in large quantities. The young plants and the submergent forms are beautiful. And here it is above water with many blossoms. When I reach the river, I spot a large school from above. I try to film them underwater, and I succeed. Afterward, I get into the water, but they are no longer to be seen. You can also find larger gobies here in the slightly deeper areas. Well camouflaged among the cryptocorin. Can you see them? Masses of these shrimp on the plants and among the vegetation. Absolutely beautiful. I spot halfbacks from above and then try filming them underwater. They swim right beneath the surface, which is always tricky to film, but I managed to pull it off, just like in an aquarium. Do you see a difference? The water is rising. Here in the river system we aren't that far from the sea, and the tides affect the water level. The water is also becoming murky. I'm heading back to the river because I left my macro lens in the car. I wanted to take some close-ups of the shrimp and the gobies. A big surprise was waiting for me there, thought, but see yourselves. I saw a glowing speck swim past me, and just as quickly as I had spotted it, it was gone again. I waited a few moments and then there they were again, pufferfish, incredible, amazing to look at. But those little guys are fast too. This macrobrachium could also be seen among the pufferfish. I watched the little guys with interest for a while, until suddenly my sneakers flowed past me. I hadn't noticed how much the water had risen. Now, thought it's time for me to head back to the hotel. I love exploring like this, but in this heat it really takes a toll on you. A break and a good meal are urgently needed now.
Thanks for your time, and I hope to see you again soon. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye and goodbye.
In the next video we're heading back to Krabi, wonderful nature, orchids and of course underwater exploration await you.